another eternity.
No, we will.
Then that's okay.
I've already read it myself, so and
even me, I've
gone
through it actually.
Yes.
So we don't even need that to present. We'll just ask questions.
So maybe Auditor General, you can respond to Senator Ladama, and then you finalize on the other issues.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senator. Sorry, Chair, I've just been informed that a representative of National Treasury was here, so when I was talking about TNT, they can comment on the issue of capacity building, because that is their role and responsibility within the Public Finance Management Act. But we work very well together because the issues I raise on capacity, on lack of accountability, or financial statements not prepared professionally, they're also able to pick up and work on them. Honorable Chair, Honorable Senator Olekina has raised the issue of the audit process. And also the issue of, and I did talk about this, where the client comes, whether governor or chief officer or administrator, and the auditor is on one side, and you're there as the arbitrator or the judge, and you're judging based on the report that the auditor has submitted, and the client is also defending themselves. So they want to defend themselves with a lot of documentation at that point in time. And I keep going back to my position that I audit at a certain point in time, and my report is issued at a certain date. So beyond that date, anything that comes after that, I'm not going to reopen the audit unless now when you call us and you tell us, please avail the all outstanding documents or issues, then because we don't want to appear here and start fighting, we look at some of these issues. The audit process is clear, and as I indicated earlier, I am also holding high-level meetings. I've even scheduled one for towards the end of this month, where we call all accounting officers, be it PSs, be it chief officers, be it administrators of schools, TVETs, be it CEOs of state corporations, and we go through a sensitization process. And I tell them the audit for 2024 is starting. And I want to comment on what Olekina has said about auditors asking for financial statements early. We do what we call the in-year audits. And sometimes because of budgetary problems, we are doing in-year when the year is almost finished. And this is what we used to refer to as a systems audit or the compliance audit. And the other thing is, because of the short timeline that we have been lobbying the entities not to wait until 30th of September, because as I keep saying, the Public Finance Management Act has done the Auditor General a disservice by taking 3 months of the audit period and giving it to the entity to do. So that if we can start the audits even before October, because the way the law is, the Public Finance Management Act is that the auditor cannot start audit until 1st of October, which is wrong, because it means I only have 3 months for the 12,000 clients, and have always admitted that it is a tall order. And that's why I've been pushing for amendment to the Public Finance Management Act to claw back 1 month in advance, so that I get the whole of September, and if possible, the whole of August to do the audit. So when the governors or other people complain that we are requesting, it's lobbying. It is where we have an agreement with my fellow purpose plan to look at risk management, because that's where now we start doing our risk assessments and ranking, so that by the time we get the final financial statements as at 30th, if you're going to bring us at 30th, we have substantively covered most of the issues, and the audit will be done as efficiently as possible. And some entities have been giving us financial statements even by end of July, and we have issued certificates. Some of these state corporations have issued certificates dated July, have issued certificates dated August. But the majority decide that the Public Finance Management Act, the by 30th of September is not by, but it is on 30th of September. And Honorable Chair, I have to put a team to spend the night there up to midnight. There are people bringing financial statements for audit at 11:30 in the night and saying that they have met the deadline of 30th of September. So maybe those are the ones I will start indicating in my audit reports that they are not cooperating. So The audit process, we start with a letter of understanding. And that letter of understanding explains the process that we shall take and the milestone, and it is attached to it is the documentation required. Of course, we know that if there's clarification during the execution phase, you might ask for another document to support something you initially requested. But it lists, and even if it did not list, an accounting officer knows that their roles and responsibility in their appointment or deployment letter requires that they prepare for audit, and they keep all records that are there. So that letter of understanding now is, after that is when we have the entry meeting. And this is now where we can go through the letter, where we ask the client, clarify any issues, tell us any other issue that is specific to you, you want us to pay attention to bring before Parliament or to bring before other authorities that will help you work better. And if there are other issues that subsequent to the letter of understanding, we discuss. It's almost like, it's an entry meeting, but it's almost like a workshop, because we also take them through the audit process again. And the milestone, we are getting into the field from, the entry meeting is actually the first day of fieldwork. So by tomorrow, now give us the documentation, show us where we are sitting. This should have been done earlier. And we'll be giving you queries as they arise, and you respond. So that is a back and forth phase of the audit. Then we have the exit meeting, clearly documented, that we shall have the exit meeting on this date, and we shall discuss the issues that are still outstanding. They are presented during the exit meeting, and then we issue a management letter. Management letter has all the audit queries, all the issues that need explanation, which now they are given time to respond to. The Public Audit Act says we give them 14 days. But we sometimes lobby because of timeline. If the issues are not significant, if you have this documentation, give us within 7 days so that we finalize and move to the next client. Then from there, those issues are evaluated. And Honorable Chair, we have documentation. Our audit processes have documentation that support those evaluations. And then there is also the internal quality control process. Then now we give a draft audit report. This is not required by law or by standard. It is us as the audit office that have decided, let's give them a preview of what their final report will look like. And if they have any additional information, they give us. And I can as well remove this stage because it delays. And we'll usually give them 7 days, 5 days, 3 days, depending on the issues. That this is how your final report will look like. Do you have any additional information? They do not give us information, or they give us, we evaluate, some issues may be resolved at that stage, we drop the query if we are satisfied, or we retain. So, Honorable Chair, by the time you're getting my final report, the client has been given ample time to respond to the issues. Now, when they decide to come here with cartons of documents, you must ask them, why did you waste the time of the auditor when you are supposed to explain these things? Where are these documents coming from now? And I know you don't hold the hearings a day after I submit my report. It could be 3 months, 6 months, or even sometimes 1 year, depending on whether you have a backlog. So where are all these documents that they are now bringing to you?
Just a point of clarification, because I think it's important to be quite clear. Did I hear you say that the time for them to submit additional information is not required by law? Because you said you give them like 7 days for them to be able to clarify issues. Did I hear you say that it's not required by law?
Chair, the management letter, the Public Audit Act gives the client 14 days. And we'll usually give 14 days. But sometimes we lobby and agree with the client. Kindly, just respond to us within the 7 days or the 5 days because we have to move to the next client. And there's always agreement, or 2 days. But the draft audit report, indeed, I should not even be issuing a draft audit report. After the ML is a final report according to the standards and the law. But we have put this as part of our communication process and enhancing the relationship with the clients, that please look at your final report. This is how your final report that will go to the public, to Parliament, looks like. Do you have any additional information? Any clarifications?
Just so that we are clear, Mr. Chairman, is the draft management letter, which is described in Section 31(4) of the Public Audit Act, the same as the final a preview of the final report that you're saying?
No, there's no, the relationship, management letter has all issues. Some will not end up before you. Some could be simple administrative issues, or can you put somebody to do bank reconciliation? Can you maybe improve on this policy? Or can you train? Some will not end up at your purview. The draft management report is basically a highlight of the issues that will go to the final management report. It is a stage I'm trying to amend in the public finance management, in the Public Audit Act, because there's no need for a draft management report. It is a final management report. After the exit meeting, we have discussed all the outstanding issues. So I issue one management report. But unfortunately, the drafters of the PAA 2015 now introduced a draft ML that has been causing us a bit of a problem, because what we issue now is like a listing of outstanding issues. Then now we issue the final management report because it has to go through some quality review. We try to issue it within a week, within latest 14 days. That is now the official management report. But after the management report, they have 14 days to respond and give us more clarification. Then we verify. And after verification, now we have the final issues that are still outstanding, which we put in the draft audit report, which I share with them beforehand. Because what I'm expected to do, indeed, is put all those outstanding issues at issue to Parliament. But I still give them one more chance, Honorable Chair. This is how your final report looks like. This is what I am going to sign. Are you satisfied? And then I sign and I issue. And then 2 months, 3 months, 6 months later, they are coming here saying the auditor, the auditor. And Honorable Chair, that process needs to be well understood by the committee so that you question the client when they come before you. And this process is followed for every client, irrespective of whether they are big, small, national, or sub-national clients. The only part where the process changes is if I'm doing a specific performance audit, or special audit, or forensic audit. The process is slightly different, but there is still a draft letter or a draft report.
Chair, I think this is the most critical information that you've given us today. And I don't want to give you more work, because I think that there is excuse for mischief by governors. And I just wanted to ask, this is not work, and I don't want to go into detail, but is there a possibility that in your certificates, you could just give a summary of correspondences in terms of just dates, right? Highlighting the way this process, like for particular certificate that you've issued, you show just a correspondent on the letter of understanding date, a correspondent on the, is just a small brief at the end of every certificate. I know that's standard, but the reason why I'm asking for this is because there is every single time that we raise here, there's that excuse for mischief that we never got this communication from the auditor. We were never even served in the management letter. We were never even